New York, and on the new Hot 97 app. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
The Cyntoia Brown case and the R. Kelly cases conversation docuseries are a part of a greater conversation that I think a lot of us either know people or have experienced firsthand. My father was in the street, and he called himself a hustler, not a pimp. He got money with women. I have other relatives that, had women, performing acts, making money. And you hear about it a lot in the streets, in the clubs, prostitution, escorting. And often it happens, with adults who they don't want to pursue a regular job. They want to get money, and they want to make a lot of money, and they want to do it right now. But unfortunately, it also happens too frequently with young girls. Sex trafficking. And some of these girls, I know we've taken calls up here before. I remember we got a call one morning. We've had this conversation before of a young lady who was from a two-parent home, didn't have any problems, but she wanted to make a lot of money and got into prostitution because she just wanted to get paid. And remember, she went to jail and got beat up in this whole other life, and even said on the air that she would go back into the lifestyle if her real estate thing that she had finessed right now wasn't working out. Remember that day?
Yeah.
Mind-blowing.
And so this prostitution, sex trafficking, what do they call it? It's like a sex profession.
Yeah.
Sex industry, sex worker.
Yeah.
Is enamoring our young girls, though, guys, because they want to jump on the jets and go to the parties and go to Dubai and go to Vegas and get the dress and go shopping and be in the club and pop bottles, popping pills, getting high. Next thing you know, you're a sex professional. Yeesh. And somebody's punching you in the face because you don't have their money. Or choking you out or pistol whipping you.
Oh, my God.
It's all part of it.
This is what goes on out here.
It's all part of it.
And it's rampant right now. And I'm going to tell you, the behavior goes up when the economy gets crazy.
Good or bad? Bad.
In a bad way.
When the economy gets bad?
When the economy gets bad.
Well, don't worry. We're in Trump's America. Everything's great.
No. No.
It's too bad.
And so I wanted to take calls either from women who are in this lifestyle right now
Or
and need to get help and get out.
Okay.
Or family members who have lost their young girls to this lifestyle.
Or maybe they're worried they're losing them right now.
Or they're
like
worried
they're
they're
on the
losing
fringe.
them right now.
Or maybe some professionals, too, who deal with this on a day-to-day.
And then I was going to say, yes, some professionals who deal with this on a day-to-day.
I don't even know what profession exactly that is.
People who are counselors who help try to get kids off the streets, young girls who deal with trauma.
But the problem is, for the people who are actually in it right now, it's not like they're seeking counseling.
Well, you never know. There's different levels. Maybe there's people maybe there's young women who are trying to figure out if that's all they know. They're trying to figure out a way to come back. Maybe you don't have a home to come back to.
Well, and that's the other thing. Even with the R. Kelly show, if you look closely, some of these women are running out to seek love and a lifestyle because their home life is unhealthy. Right? There was an organization I used to work with here, Girls. It was called Girls. And, when we used to go and talk to the young girls, and these were young girls that were involved in being sex trafficked or had just gotten out of that lifestyle. And a lot of the issues stem from the dysfunction of not being loved and cared for and being protected and feeling like they can be safe. So they run and join up with people who are claiming they're going to keep them safe.
Of course. They tell them everything they want to hear.
And for some women, And I know there's men who are in this lifestyle too. Getting punched in the face a few times a week, but making a lot of money is a good trade-off versus going home to your drug-abusing mom or neighborhood or household.
A lot of people, it's their norm. They don't know any better. That's the problem.
So, I felt like with all of this talk, Cyntoia Brown, who just got clemency, 15 years old, she's 30 now, but at 15, she was being sex trafficked, 15, 16, and was being abused and thought she was going to get murdered and ended up murdering the person who had bought her. But that was what was normal to her. These R. Kelly stories. This R. Kelly thing is pimping. And it's sex trafficking. That's what these stories are. Yeah, it's under the guise of somebody wants to be famous or I want to have a singing career, so I went and I thought I was going to be able to sing songs, et cetera, et cetera. It's under that umbrella. So nobody's saying, no, this is sex trafficking.
Yes, it all comes down to abuse of power.
This is pimping and hoeing and all of that. And adults doing it, you're an adult. But when it's teenagers being taken advantage of, that's where it really upsets all of us. That's when we all really, because this is one of the oldest things that's been going on.
No,
like,
literally
this isn't
since
new.
the dawn of time.
This isn't new.
As long as women have existed and man has existed, man has tried to take advantage of women.
So I wanted to take calls because I know people are dealing with this in a real way. And there are also people who hear this stuff and it's so foreign to them. They don't know that it's going on probably with people in their family, their next door neighbors, people that they see all the time that are living these secret lives sometimes as a sex professional or went through it as a young person. And that trauma shaped who they are now as an adult. Let's go to Ruth. Ruth.
Hi, how are you?
Ruth, good morning. You say your 25-year-old daughter, what happened?
She was on drugs, and what she always told me was drugs and men. So that means not only 14, 15-year-olds can do this, older females can do this too, and I had to get her out of it. I had to give her help.
And you got her help?
I got her help. Yeah, I got her out of it.
And where did you get her help from?
I put her in a rehab, and then she went to jail.
Oh, she ended up going to jail.
Yes.
And being in jail and going to rehab.
It's because, like I said, drugs, men, stealing. So, yeah, that happened.
Ruth, thanks for
And
your
then
story.
you guys talked about, and I wanted to say something, too, about the thing you guys are talking about, R. Kelly.
Yes.
Okay. Look, I understand what everybody says about that, but let me tell you something. 14, 15-year-olds, they know what they're doing nowadays.
Yeah, but they're being taken advantage of. I hear people say that all the time. That's not the answer.
They're still 14
They
and
know
15
what
year
they're
olds.
doing nowadays. Listen, the brain didn't change. Your brain is forming until you're like 18 years old.
I hate that response
I
because
can't.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Just because at 18 you're an adult doesn't mean you know what you're doing.
Exactly. Like, have these people had conversations with a
Oh, by the
14-year-old
way,
recently?
And by the way, I'm sorry. How many of us have known women who are in their 20s or 30s and have
Yes.
been warped into an abusive relationship, and they're full-blown adults who do not control their own brain anymore?
And so now you're talking about 14 and 15-year-olds who are being manipulated, taken advantage of. And let me not make any snide comments about that.
Well, and also, people touched on this a little bit in the documentary. Don't do to black women what people do to black men, which is police officers see black men as looking older than they are because of their physical body type. People do the same thing with black women. They see a 13-year-old girl and they look at their body and
Oh,
go,
yes.
oh, she's a grown-ass woman. Look at her. She knows what she's doing. Because her body's developed?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? People do that.
Tanya, what happened to you?
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Tanya.
Well, it started when I was 10, and it was my stepfather. My mother had passed away, and they knew my maternal family knew that he was abusive to my mother. So it came a time when my grandmother basically signed over her rights of me to him.
Wait. Quickly. Why would your grandmother do that?
To this day, I'm 41 years old. I have no idea.
Got it. Okay.
And they act as if nothing happened. And he basically, everything that you said, he told me if I stayed with her that other men would abuse me, no one would love me, no one would care about me, no one would do anything for me. So I basically got up one day, packed a bag, and went and left with him. No one came looking for me, no one, anything. Let's fast forward to the court day where my grandmother signed away her rights. She acted as if she had just seen me the other day. Like nothing had happened, but they all knew.
And so this what I hear, Tanya, is you saying that this is a problem in your family.
It's a problem in my family, but what I also realize is I speak to more of my friends, this was going on with them.
So
and because you're not supposed to talk about it. Hispanic community, the black community, you're not supposed to talk about it.
I don't think in any community people like to talk about it. They hide it. But what happened? What ended up happening when you went with him?
Well, it was the same thing. I was molested, I was raped, and it all came to an end when he found out that I had a boyfriend. And he literally locked me in the house for 3 days, took away the house phone. Cell phones had just come out at that time, so he took that away and literally held me captive and repeatedly beat me and raped me. A friend of mine had called because she was worried. So he didn't speak Spanish. She and I spoke Spanish. So I told her in Spanish to call the cops. I was living in Queens at the time. She was in Manhattan. She called the cops, gave them my address. They came to my house. And to this day, I wish I could find these officers and detectives and thank them because they did not leave. They knocked on that door for I don't know how long until he opened the door. And they found me cowering in the bathroom, bruised and beaten. And that was it. We had a court case, and 12 of his peers found him not guilty of molestation and rape. But they found him guilty of aggravated assault.
Wow.
And that was 1999.
And where is he now?
I have no idea. I hope he's dead.
And so do I. But that's.
Thank you for sharing your story, Tanya. I
Thank you.
appreciate
You're
that.
very brave
very
for sharing
welcome.
that.
Thank you. But what I wanted to leave the listeners with is that ask the females in your family. Matter of fact, ask the kids in your family, male or female.
Right.
If there's anything that they want to say, make them feel comfortable with being able to come to you and talk to you about anything.
That's right.
Friends out there, ask your friends if anything is going on at home that they want to talk about. Because we're not, the abuse, we're not just going to come out and say it because we've been taught that no one's going to believe you. So just ask that question, please.
So key. Thank you for sharing, Tanya.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Let's go to middle school counselor, Maria.
Hi, how are you?
Good. You're dealing with this conversation, I'm sure, more frequently than any of us, dealing with young, impressionable girls chasing older guys.
Yeah, so I work in East New York and Brooklyn, and a lot of the girls, they feel like they need to do this as a sense of control because they're already being abused, right? Okay. They already feel like their stepfather, their father, their family friend is already sexually abusing them. So at least why not make money off of it, right? At least they have that sense of control, like, well, it's on my terms, my money, my terms, kind of thing.
And
so it's
what are you telling them when you're having a conversation with them?
So it's hard because I try to feel like I understand them and I try to empathize with them and kind of like see where they're coming from because I do think that, again, they're 11, 12, 13, 14. So they're young girls and they feel like no one understands where they're coming from. I'm an adult. Adults never understand children. They have lack of control. they're supposed to listen to adults and just be like, just kind of just go with the flow and just shut up and do their thing. So I try to empathize with them and just listen to their story and then kind of have them understand, like, what they're doing and what they want out of their life. Just kind of, like, do the self-reflection thing and see, like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Or what is it that you want out of your life? Is the control more important than your safety, or, your housing situation? Like, is it because you're in a foster home? Is it because you're being abused by a family member? Because then, of course, I have other legal responsibilities, but I still want them to feel safe because, again, a lot of the times, if an ACS case is involved or whatever it is, then they end up running away because they fall in love with this older man or whatever it is. So they found someone or their pimp who they feel like, oh, that's my daddy. That's who's going to take care of me. So they'll lie and then keep running away to this person's house. Meanwhile, this person's taking advantage of this young 12-year-old girl.
And this is exactly what a lot of people are traumatized by because they don't know how real it is maybe out here when they see this R. Kelly docuseries and these young girls.
That's right.
And,
And then it ends up just being a cycle.
And
then it's just repetitive.
And the reason it's happening more frequently to, our young black and brown women is because they're coming from impoverished homes, broken homes, bad neighborhoods, where there's already trauma and other issues that are systemic. And so, Maria, I've said this earlier, but you can speak more directly to this. This is way more common than our society is dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's all around, and it's been around for many years. I just feel like, not that people aren't talking about it, I just feel like it's just a means to that it's just there. And I think, again, a lot for these girls, it's survival. And I think that's just how they feel, as they're doing what they need to do to survive, kind of thing. And it's like, you can't look down on me because I'm alive, and this is what I need to do to make sure that I take care of me, because no one else is taking care of me. So why should I rely on society when they let me down every day? Like, well, look what's going on with everything else. So why do I need to rely on them when I can take care of me? Like, I'm 12. I know what I'm doing. I got money. I have control. So when it comes down to it, like, the only person who's going to look out for me is me, kind of thing.
And what do you say as someone who's dealing with this every day for us who, we're not in the schools and, like even myself, right? I'm not having these conversations with young girls. Is there places that we can volunteer? Is there a phone number that we can give out that even young girls that are listening to this right now that need support? Is there a place for us to send young girls that need support, protection, to be heard?
I mean, there's so many different resources. I do think that even starting to, like, reach out to the suicidal line is one, the suicidal hotline, or teen help hotline. I think that's one. But I think that even in general is just reaching out for help. I think if you're in the bathroom or if you have a moment to yourself, just writing a note to a stranger, anything, because I do think that even though times have changed and it doesn't seem like people care or adults care, I do think that we still live by it takes a village to raise a child.
Facts.
So even if you're walking down the street and if a little girl or someone passes you a note like, help, I'm in trouble, I'm sure that as an adult, you'll be like, okay, I need to do something.